why are people harping on about the MA63 agreement? How was that formed, and why does that seem to be so important right now?
With due respect to the current leaders, they were just babies then, which is 1963-64. They don't know the whole history behind, except their fathers. For instance, Abang Johari's father was offered by Tun Rahman to be the governor. Pick up. Abang Johari, with due respect to him, he was only a clerk with the MAS, just in front of the office there. Then it is me who picked him up with Adnan to join and stand for PBB seat in the one. You can even ask him now. And the late Adnan also sama. So they are not the inner circles, but Adnan's brother, who is the late Januddin Satem, knows the history because we were together with the late Ali Salem, and the rest are all handpicked after our group, after we fought in 1969 when we almost lost. So they are in fact harvesting the fruits of the effort made by us. It's not their choice, I think it's by accident that more of our type make use of them because of Types and Rahman's problem. Types take advantage of the young civil service intellectuals to support him for the politic of so-called politic of development. So Rahman was carrying the old guard, the traditional, whose support in rural areas is waning off, while Type promise is heaven and earth, but he forgot the backfire by the Iban community against him towards the end of it, because I happen to be very close to the Iban leaders like Leo Mugi, Daniel Tajem, Dato Andawi, and many others. Daniel Tajem used to stay with me here when he was a member of parliament, and they used to tell me, boss, we have a 25-year plan. One day we will take over this country because we have the majority. Which they forgot that this the split is already done much earlier, not by them. Possibly indirectly by Type and Tun Rahman. I may not have the hand in it.
We go from obviously you moving up the ranks. How to the stage where you became this was post Malaysia already. So in the early 70s, moving up and then becoming the Deputy Minister of Education.
I was appointed as Deputy Minister of Education 1977, 14 July, 14 April, to replace the son-in-law of Dato Salahuddin, YB Edward Isnin, because they want me to be appointed as Federal Deputy Minister to study, to understudy federal politics, and then ask Edward to come back. So because that time I was very anxious, being young, being politically motivated, and can do a lot of things in a short while. So I don't get along with Musa because I want more advantages for Sarawak, especially education, give more scholarships, anything about Sarawak and Sabah, I always go. So Musa doesn't like it very much.
This is to Musa Hitam.
Musa Hitam lah. So one evening, I used to sit on the Education Higher Planning Committee in charge of all the policy of education. But when the minister is not in, I used to chair. I used to chair the as chairman of all the universities. What do you call it? Vice Chancellor of all the universities was under me. So they are very respectful. Whatever we decide, they just approve. So I become very biased also lah towards Sabah and Sarawak, because I want to contribute something for the country while I can serve. And that time, although I was only 37 years old that time, 37, people respect you because you know what you are doing, and you don't go for money that time. But that time I was already quite rich lah, having done joint venture with some of this big timber tycoon in Sarawak. Once I don't get along, I become sick because I used to travel a lot, sometimes from Kuching to Sabah by helicopter, Bintulu, Miri, one day up to KK, then back here, back to Labuan, up there in the one opening schools. So I was sick for 21 days, admitted to hospital. While I was there, I'm thinking, why do I continue to serve this bloody guy? Salary 7,300. I was already earning that time about few 100,000 a month. So I wrote a long letter to Tun Rahman while I was in the hospital.
What year was this?
1981. Asked Haji Suboh. I told Haji Suboh, you hand this letter over to Tun Rahman when my plane took off from Subang.
What was the content of the letter?
Content, I want to resign. I want to continue my studies and do law. I wrote all in the book there. So I left, I went to England together with Abdullah Hamad. Abdullah Hamad was supposed to go with me to Buckingham, but because he saw that 4 police officers who whacked him when he was arrested, he left. He went to America to do postgraduate in Harvard. So Dollah went back because Dollah's wife was a former assistant secretary to the ambassador in London, where this Khairi's father was at the time in London lah, Jamaluddin. Then when I left 1982-83, Tun Rahman asked me back to fight type again lah. So I resigned after I graduate. I left. Then we fought in Darat with Madihi. Madihi, when he saw Tun Rahman, the late one Madihi was asked by Tun, you don't fight Saleh, he said. You will be quarreling with type immediately. True enough. He won. 3 months later, he quarreled.
This was
86. Then he resigned. Then we have a coup, 87, to topple type.